Microphones are on, everybody. I'd like to call the Committee of the Whole for Monday, February 22nd, 2016 to order. Let the record show everyone is here except Alderman Radecki. Alderman Kilberg is on the phone with us. Alderman Kilberg, are you there? He is. Okay, he said yes, we could hear that. My name is Rich Marks. I'm one of the Second Ward Aldermen for the, along with Alderman Cummings. I'll call the meeting to order. I need a motion to approve the Committee of the Whole minutes from February 8th, 2016.
Second.
Alderman Cummings makes the motion. Alderman Bruno makes the second. Any discussion, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alderman Kilberg? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Items of business. 3A is recommend approval of special event application for Gardenology, May 14th, 2016. Motion by Alderman Cummings, second by Alderman Sino. I believe there's a couple people here in the front row that have a little presentation or are here to answer questions. Or any questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Second item of business, 3B, is recommend draft ordinance amending Title IV Business and License Regulations, Chapter 2 Liquor Control, Section 4-2-8 and 4-2-11 and 4-225 related to Bassett certification requirements. Alderman Cummings makes the motion. Second by Alderman Singer. Questions? I think this is pretty much housekeeping just to keep it up with state law. Alderman Singer, you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Clarification, those that are presently, I understand that the ordinance indicates that one need to take the Bassett training in after a 3-year period. If someone is already Bassett trained at this point in time, are they grandfathered?
They'll have to take it the training every 3 years. They'll need to take it in the future.
All right. There is a fee that one must pay for the training.
There is.
Has there been a thought of possibly increasing the fee? Is that not the police department that does the training?
It is.
Correct, okay. Have we thought about possibly increasing the fee?
We'll be discussing that next Monday.
Okay, I like to hear that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from the audience, dais? No. Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is unanimous. You're going to have an easy meeting next week, Mayor. Jeez. Recommend draft ordinance amending Title 11 zoning, Section 11-7B-3, special uses in the I-1 Light Industrial District related to expanding the list of special uses in the I-1 district to include theater/Geneva Park District. Do I have a motion? Motion by Alderman Cummings. Second by Alderman Sino. I know someone is here from the Park District. You're just here for question, answer?
I can approach or I can answer questions, whatever the committee would prefer.
Does anyone have any questions?
I have some comments about this one.
Please come forward, and then if you could please give us your name and your address.
My name is Brandon Anderson. I'm at 328 North 7th Street. And I come tonight to voice our support for the Park District's request to move Playhouse 38 to Stevens Street. This is exactly the kind of thoughtful and responsible development that we want to see in our neighborhood. We love the idea of more people visiting the Stevens corridor to support businesses there, and we hope for continued business growth and development along that stretch. I particularly wanted to voice our support for this in light of Alderman Maladra's comments at the February 8th Committee of the Cow meeting, where he expressed his thoughts on our neighborhood's reaction to the Park Place development on Stevens. I do have a copy of your comments if you want to see those. As a neighborhood, we were surprised to hear Alderman Maladra state the following while speaking about the PUD request by Dunkin' Donuts for the Pepper Valley neighborhood. He states, "We had to look at Park Place a little while ago. They were asking for a lot of variances, a lot of change. In that case, the residents were as opposed as you guys are, but what they were opposed to was really more people choosing to take up residence in a residential neighborhood. Hearing this was very frustrating to us. The idea that we were opposed to development or additional neighbors is simply not true. And I bring this up tonight because I want to ensure that the council doesn't dismiss concerns that we may have over other developments as simply residents resistant to change. In the case of Park Place, almost everyone was careful to preface their comments with the statement that we were eager for development, but had concerns about height, density, and setback. I hate to think that all Alderman Maladra remembers about our passionate pleas regarding Park Place is the untrue idea that we were opposed to more neighbors. We only asked then, and continue to ask now, that you thoughtfully and responsibly consider developments and changes in zoning in light of the existing building codes and downtown master plan. I hope that tonight you'd vote for allowing Playhouse 38 to amend the zoning and allow for the special use, as it is a prime example of the forward thinking that we hope for in our neighborhood. I, along with others from our neighborhood, would like to ensure that Alderman Maladra and those who attended or viewed the February 8th Committee of the Whole meeting understand the gross misrepresentation he made about our neighborhood stance on development, and particularly on our desire, or our not desire, for new neighbors. We'd appreciate if Alderman Maladra would be willing to lend his voice in that respect. Part of why I want the council to understand that my intent in bringing this up tonight is to simply ensure that the council, that most of your constituents truly want what's best for Geneva. And we recognize that development is exactly what's needed in many areas. The Playhouse 38 request on Stevens, the Playhouse 38 request on Stevens appears to me to be a great fit for our neighborhood, and an excellent example of where zoning can be thoughtfully and respectfully changed. It's vital that you don't assume that most of us are just opposed to change or don't welcome new neighbors. And in light of issues like this with Playhouse 38, with Marquette coming up, that the things that you were facing, we just ask that you remember that we're not opposed to change. We do welcome new neighbors. We just ask that you to continue to work on behalf of your constituents and not in spite of us. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for your comments, appreciate it. Alderman Maladra.
Okay, since I've been pilloried, I guess I have time to respond. So the main thing, and I did respond to Mr. Horvath, the main thing is I made no statement at all about anything other than the fact that you were all out here opposing what is a residential development. My intent was not to say that you don't want new neighbors. My intent was to paint a difference between factors that we use to decide issues in spite of loud and strong vocal presence in city council. In the case of Park Place, it's different in my mind than the Dunkin' Donuts, a residential development, and I was explaining why I favored one over the other. Residential development, however big the mass of the building, is very different impact on a neighborhood than an all-night or a late-night commercial activity. In this case, it would be an all-night or a late-night commercial activity across an alley, which we were lectured is really a street. In your case, it's people sleeping across a street. That was all I was doing, is telling the people here who were saying, oh, you have to pay attention to us, look at how many people are here, that we do take that into consideration, but we also take into consideration other factors. We do our homework, we study, we listen to both sides, not one side, and we take all of that in context of what we understand about the strategic plan, the comprehensive plan, and the downtown master plan, and sometimes we have to make difficult decisions. It's not courage to do whatever the yelling voices are telling us to do. It's courage to do what we think is right in spite of what the yelling voices are doing. So I never said that you guys were opposed to new neighbors. I never said, actually all I said was you were here, true, and you were opposed to a residential development, also true. And the intent wasn't to put you in a bad light or a good light, just to say, in that case, we had to listen to what you said and we voted one way. And in this case, we had to listen to what these people said, but all the other factors that need to be considered come into play. That was it. And I also did, I'll apologize to you if I made my points that evening poorly. but I don't think I I didn't say anything about your position.
Is it all right if I just respond to that?
Or you can have an argument.
Okay, and again, I'm not, this isn't an attack on you. What was frustrating to us as a neighborhood is to feel like the takeaway from that experience that you then voiced to everyone watching that meeting and at that meeting was the idea that we were opposed. The direct quote is, and it's at, exactly 1 hour in, the direct quote is, in that case, the residents were as opposed as you guys are, but what they were opposed to, and there's actually a snicker there, was really more people choosing to take up residence in a residential neighborhood.
Correct.
And again, why this is important to us and why this, caused some activity in our neighborhood conversations about this was that we would hate for the council to feel like we are opposed to new neighbors. We would hate for the council to feel like we're opposed to development. That we would be opposed to the Playhouse 38, that we in fact are eager for the areas to be developed that need to be developed. And I just would hate for the takeaway from that Park Place experience to be that, that we didn't want neighbors there. And that's why we were there opposing the project. And it's also frustrating to hear that of course, I know that you have to make your own courageous stance on viewpoints despite what your constituents would think, but it feels often that you're working and making decisions in spite of us and not on our behalf. And so it felt like you were even more stating that in your comments that evening on the 8th. So we just wanted to let you know that we're excited about Playhouse 38. We think it's exactly what we're hoping for in our neighborhood, and we want to make sure that we are eager for development and for new neighbors.
So you began this section by saying what? You're not here to take me on personally or something like that?
No, I'm definitely not. What I'm here to take on personally.
Wait, let me finish.
Okay,
So it feels like you're
yeah.
coming after me.
Okay,
And so I can't do anything about how you feel. I'm not going to question your motivation. Don't question mine. Thank you.
that's fair, that's fair. And I would love to reiterate, it is not a personal affront. It was frustrating to hear those comments and to hear the laugh and to just feel like that you hadn't heard what our concerns were at that time. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions regarding the item before us? Alderman Burkhart.
Is there any question or concerns about sound at Playhouse 38? It's in the same building as the water bowl, is that right?
Yeah,
Dog
please
kennel?
come up so everybody can hear your answer. Thank you. And state your name and your position with the Park District.
Siobhan Lambalot, Executive Director, Geneva Park District. In regard to the sound, there are certainly concerns about the sound, but the advantages of the new location far outweigh any concerns that we have about sound.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Silver guy.
Motion passes unanimously. Next item of business is 3D. Recommend draft ordinance granting a special use for a theater at 321 Stevens Street in the I-1 Light Industrial District, Geneva, for Geneva Park District.
So moved.
Motion by Bruno, second by Cummings. Questions, comments?
I guess this is where my question should have come.
That's okay. It was fine there. Doesn't matter. Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous again.
Silver guy.
Unanimous again. Any new business tonight? From the dais? From the audience? Okay. Next item of business is closed session on the appointment, employment. Yes, Dean?
I didn't have anything, no.
Okay. The next item of business is item 5, closed session on the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of an employee of the public body. the operation of a municipality of a municipal utility, or the operation of a municipal power agency related to the purchase, sale, or delivery of electricity, and the purchase, sale, or lease of property for the use of the public body. I need a motion to go into closed.
Second.
Motion by Bruno, second by Sino. That needs to be a roll call vote. That needs, could you take a roll call, please?
Mike Bruno?
Aye.
Tara Burkhardt?
Aye.
Donald Cummings? Dean Kilburg?
Gilbert, aye.
Greg Ladra?
Aye.
Richard Marks?
Aye.
Tom Simonian?
Aye.
Mary Sino? Ron Singer?
Aye.
That is also unanimous. There will be no action taken after this meeting, so feel free to leave.
This one.
And we will go into closed session.